Hello, and if you're a new listener, welcome to Dead Tomorrow. On this show, we ask the question, are we going to be dead tomorrow, and how? On today's episode, zombie apocalypse. Resident Evil style zombie apocalypse. Here are the rules. We only have regular zombies from a T-virus-like infection that bite people, or zombie dogs, hellhounds. And the big possibility is that me and Ollie are going to die from tripping over a rock trying to get away from them.
Excuse me.
You know you will.
Yeah, true.
And I did say me and Ollie because this week a certain person is excluded from dying tomorrow.
Well, I might die, but probably not from tripping over a rock. I'd go out in a better way, maybe, if I'm lucky.
I mean, I'm going to go out in a cool way. When I trip over that rock, I'm going to take a few zombies with me.
Okay.
I'm just going to dab and just die.
Yeah, I'm going to buzz off on my electric wheelchair and...
A rock might get stuck in your wheelchair, you never know.
I'll leave you guys behind.
Well, if you are our one listener out there, I can't wait for when we've got a big audience and they come back and listen to this. It's going to be so ironic. But...
You're never going to get a big audience.
We're never going to get a big audience.
10 at most, come on. I believe in us.
Actually, we got 10 on our last episode, but I think that was just us listening to it.
Wait, we got 10 on our last episode?
Yeah, I listened to it yesterday. And
We have reached a milestone, guys. Thank you so much.
I am so proud of this community.
yeah, sure.
Right, as normal, we're each going to go round and explain how we would survive
or just...
this encounter. As of course, usually on the show in the past we have talked about different things to prepare for an apocalypse. This time is actually our first actual apocalypse.
This is our first hypothetical, and everyone does zombies, so we thought we might as well join in.
Also, I've been watching a lot of Resident Evil films and playing a lot of the games lately, so, you know.
And they said I could do a Mega Tsunami podcast if we did zombies, so I guess that's what we're doing today.
The Walking Dead is better. Okay, carry on.
Oh, we're not going to have a Walking Dead Resident Evil debate, are we? Because Resident Evil is so much better.
How about we just don't debate? They're all zombies. End of story.
That is not how... Every zombie is different.
I know.
Walking Dead made me cry.
Okay.
I'm a man.
Yeah, but
Okay.
Walking Dead has a lot of filler episodes that don't really amount to much.
But how about just
Ooh,
don't
you wanna
talk
fight?
about it?
At least with Resident
We're talking about
Evil,
our own zombie
each
situation.
game is important.
Yeah.
Do we know what type of zombies we actually are going to face tomorrow?
Yes, the type of zombies we're facing, like I briefly covered earlier, are the regular, traditional, walking along, unable to run, bitey zombies, and basically hellhounds that are zombie dogs that can run.
Okay, so we're going unoriginal today. We're not having any like giant watermelon type or magic wolf dog things.
I wanted to keep this episode a bit more grounded.
Okay, we're unoriginal. Let's go. So
Grounded?
first thing.
Saying we're keeping it a bit more grounded is my excuse. Roll with it.
Okay, so first thing. The first thing on your left is what you have to hit a zombie over the head with. I've got my bag. What have
I've
you
got Oliver.
I got a craftsman companion, like shredder of some kind. I think I'll be alright. Shredder zombies.
Apparently I've just got to pick you up and lob you at him.
James.
I'm not sure who to pity here.
Well, the zombies or Oliver?
With a shredder.
Poor Shredder. Wait, is this Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Are we just bringing a villain from that into this now? You're just gonna lob Shredder.
Go.
Well, since I've got my bag, how about we discuss like what sort of things you'd pack if you had to go out into the zombie survival world or whatever?
Of course, the first and probably most vital thing is you need some kind of weapon.
Yeah.
Some kind of handheld weapon that's not going to slow you
So
down.
if we're not having a shredder, what weapon would you choose?
Well, obviously, ideally, you want a firearm. But in this country, it's very hard to get one. So I'm going to go a bit more realistic. Obviously, I would love to have like a minigun. But just from what I could find around the house, obviously, you've got knives, you've got rakes, you've got any kind of long bow, like a broom could work.
Yeah.
But I actually have a great thing in mind from my house. We have this metal pole that we use to open up the loft, which has two sort of spiky, jagged ends,
Right,
which could be a very good melee sort of weapon. And of course, I'd go for something traditional like a knife.
Yeah. I think any sort of longer or hard, heavy hitting object is what I'd choose. So I'd not be the fighter type. For example, fitness is not the category I'd excel in. I have no stamina, no endurance, anything like that. So I lose all points in that regard.
That's fine, because
So
you
long
can
as I
stay
have a
behind
good-
and be eaten by the zombies and
No.
let us escape.
Okay, that's another thing I was going to say. In zombie apocalypse, we have to work as a team. So if any one of us can't survive this challenge, this hypothetical, that means we all die. Okay?
Yes, team.
This is the worst video game ever. Just
We
like
have to work as a team.
you're playing a video game, one of you dies, you all die. That is like the most
Well,
annoying
no,
thing.
because if one of you dies, then you have if in a team of 3 is like the ideal for survival. And if
Yeah.
one of you dies in that team, then you're unlikely to be able to have all the people to manage certain tasks.
That's fair. Okay, yeah, we'll use that rule. Okay, so what weapon would you use? And it can't be a shredder. I mean, it could be a shredder, but I wouldn't recommend it.
I mean, I would probably use like my mixtape or something because you know it's pretty deadly. But since that's a bit too far.
Are these
from this
zombies
situation-
affected by sound?
I don't know. I think I'll be affected by this. But if I can't do that, I'll just probably get a broomstick, attach a knife onto it, so I can jab the zombies in the eye with.
If these zombies are either attracted by sound or affected by sound, you could use
They're
it
not.
to. Okay.
Well, I mean,
Some zombies are, and
I mean, you could probably use like a loud noise, like music or something, to allure them, but
Yeah.
they're not affected by it. Like it doesn't.
yeah, but
harm that.
if they are trying to go towards whatever that noise is in a different area, you could set up speakers and stuff around the town and not have them where you are, and you have to be quieter. But you don't have to be as quiet if everything else is making noise around you.
That is true.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously we now have our weapons.
Yeah.
Uh,
If you guys are tripping over rocks, are you going on foot then? Because I definitely can't go on foot.
that we're not going on foot. But there will come a time when we will have to go on foot. You can't always escape every situation by vehicle. There might be a roadblock.
Yeah.
There might be a situation that means perhaps you run out of petrol.
Yeah. How can we make it most likely that I can survive then with my disability?
Well, I think the number one thing we want to do is establish a base of operations. Establish somewhere we can fortify.
Yeah.
Because if we have a building that is safe and fortified, as long as no one opens the door,
Yeah. And
we should
said
be
these
okay
zombies
for
can't
some
climb.
time.
We said these zombies can't climb. So
They
if you
cannot
go up
climb.
attic spaces, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I'd be great at this because, like, prepping and that sort of stuff, I was really like, oh yeah, let's prep. And then, so long as you can prep and hide out in a place, you'd be fine. Van life would be the best for this sort of thing because you can just live in the van and you have all the stock you need and you can be off grid and everything and just go out into the country and
Like
you'll
I
be
say,
absolutely
the
fine.
big problem is getting petrol.
Unless you have an electric vehicle, in which case you could have like an electric car or something. Maybe.
But
then you still have to charge it.
You
yeah.
would have to get electricity, and in a zombie apocalypse, are you going to be able to get electricity?
Solar panels.
If you think about it, there's a new car that has just been released that it generates it just recharges by itself.
Yeah.
It's like a new car and all that, but if we use that, then we have a very...
It depends if
You
we'd
do
be able
have
get
to
hold of these
remember though
vehicles.
that this zombie apocalypse is happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
Meaning we have to deal with what we have to hand, and I don't think any of us are going to have a prototype car by tomorrow.
I mean, you might.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. If this happened in a few years' time and I was living in a van, I'd probably be fine. But because I'm not living in a van right now, I'm not such fine.
I think, I was saying about fortifying a place. Obviously, if you can't get out of your house, you need to fortify your house as best as possible. But that's not what you want to do. If I was, say, stuck in my house, if the three of us were stuck in my house, I would grab as much food and supplies. I would take them up into my loft.
What sort of cans do you have right now?
We have all sorts. We have tons of soup and.
How long do you think it would last
Have any
us?
tuna?
3 people.
We probably have a couple months worth.
Okay.
But what I would do is obviously fortify all the windows and the doors and take everything and put it up in the loft, everything we need, and I would lock us up in the loft.
A bit like in a flood situation.
Yeah. And just sort of wait it out in the loft for as long as we can, and then when we get our first chance to escape the house, we would have to escape because eventually the zombies are gonna get in.
So we are probably not going to be dead tomorrow since we can wait it out in the loft for quite a while.
But eventually the zombies will get in, so we can't stay there forever.
On an outdoor what's the word? Where you go out and you explore to get more food and that sort of thing.
Scavenge.
Expedition, that's the word. Expedition. On an outside expedition, would you take the whole team or would you take the strongest people if we had maybe a bigger team or whatever?
I don't think it's recommended to take the whole team. You want to take the people best suited for the expedition.
So not me then. I'll stay
Purely
at the
because
base.
we're not just going to have zombies to contend with. There's going to be other survivors that are trying to get your resources and that, and someone needs to hold down the fort.
Yeah. If I could modify a chair, or for example, my chair doesn't go that fast. It's not as fast as a bike, but it's faster than walking. So if I could get an electric scooter rather than a wheelchair, maybe just buy one or nick one, seeing as we are in the apocalypse, then modify that in some way, then I could probably armour that chair quite a bit, and that would help me. Otherwise, I'd be more likely to go on some sort of motorbike or something if I had to go out on an expedition.
I would definitely try to use my car or a vehicle of some kind, but I wouldn't have my car just as it is. I would try to armour it up as much as possible.
Yeah.
I would recommend that if we say in this scenario we start out in my house in the loft for maybe a few months. Maybe we can stay there for a few months. Eventually we're going to run out of food. Eventually the zombies are going to get in. Once we have to escape
Are the
there...
zombies going to get in though? Because we are in the attic and you said they couldn't climb.
They can't climb, but... I mean, there's a lot of zombies. They could probably pile on top of one another.
True.
Anyway, so let's say that we have to get out. The most ideal places you want to be are places like, for instance, a church, a fort, an old castle. Places like that where it's built quite
Porchester,
strong.
but I reckon people would have already tried to hold down that place.
Good kill kicker.
We could try the church in Alderstoke.
I'm not sure that churches are always the best idea though.
I mean that.
Especially if this virus is affecting the dead, then it'd be around graveyards.
Yes, but by the time we were saying we were going to be waiting it out in here first, by the time we get to that situation, aren't all the dead already going to have rised and left the graveyard?
Well, there'll still be some in there.
Well, yeah, obviously, and I mean we're going to have to fight off zombies to find a new place regardless. But surely we want somewhere that is going to be built well that's going to keep enough out. And churches are built very well.
They're built to last many centuries or whatever.
Exactly.
But at the same time, they're built to be very open and not have much heating or anything like that. They don't necessarily have upper floors. There's a lot that you have to take into account with churches. And the fact they have giant glass windows isn't usually good for defence.
A big old bell.
You say that, but on the one hand side, things can get through the glass windows, perhaps. But on the other hand side, we can look out the glass windows.
No, you can't. They're stained glass.
But if they've already been smashed,
then what are you doing in the church?
Bit disrespectful.
You're saying that in the event of...
I wouldn't go to a church in a zombie apocalypse. No.
Okay. Well, we would want somewhere that could be heavily fortified. We'd want something like a fort.
School.
Or something.
Yeah. Most people say school though, so a lot of people would be trying to go there. They have huge gates and stuff like that, and they have the walls all the way around, but I wouldn't trust it because of how many people have that same idea.
Not just that, but schools are very big usually.
Yeah.
Meaning there's a lot of rooms in them. Meaning you could be in a school with zombies inside and you wouldn't even know.
Yeah. If you want to go to a school though, the best place to go would be one fairly near us, which is near a beach. They have an old building, and which is the main reception way, and that's stood for many years. And they have the tower rooms, and
which would be really good for sniping if you had a gun.
Yeah, you'd probably go up to the tower rooms if no one else had taken them first. They can be easily locked down, and it's probably the best place to go, and zombies wouldn't even try and get up there.
Anyway, you were talking about what you would have in your backpack, what you would carry with you.
Yeah.
I want to add on to that, because we said about weapons. I want to say a few other things I would carry. Obviously, things like a blanket would be very helpful, because if you're going to be on the road, if you're going to be travelling, you need something to keep you warm.
I ask a question?
Yep.
This will be for another podcast probably, but do any of you have a go bag right now?
Go bag.
So like it packed with either the things that are most important to you or the things that will help you survive. I have a go bag for the stuff that's most sentimental and important to me, but I don't have a survival go bag yet.
No. I mean, I can just throw a knife in my bag and that's it.
The thing is, most of the things that are most important to me, other than my collectibles, most of them are electronic.
Yeah.
And electronics probably won't work in the apocalypse anyway.
Yeah, with my go bag that I have, it's kind of a mix of both, because if I really had to survive just with this bag, it doesn't have any food or anything in it, but it does have my first red scarf that I got, which can open out into a blanket, and it does have very small amount of clothes in it, and then it has
yeah, obviously
signed
you'd need
books,
clothes.
and if this was in an apocalyptic scenario, I'd use them for fire rather than for even though they're sentimental books because they're signed, I would still use them for fire. And then I've got like my writings from when I was younger, but only like a small amount of that. And
obviously, I would definitely have like soaps and toothpaste and a toothbrush, because it might be the apocalypse, but that's no excuse for not proper dental hygiene.
I probably have that in my essentials kit. I carry an essentials kit with me everywhere. So this bag that I'm going to hit a zombie over the head with, it has stuff like ear defenders, glasses cases, whatever else. It also has my now mostly empty essentials kit because I've used it so much.
Took a knife.
I used to carry a wood carver's knife with me, which I haven't been carrying for the past few years. But I got one thing that is good in a survival situation is to carry, even though we can only get hold of small dosage stuff at the moment, like painkillers are good even if you only have a tiny amount of them. So I got that, and then other things are like sanitary items. So like, because even if you are fighting zombies for all of the time or whatever, you need to stay sanitary still, because if certain waterways aren't working or whatever else, then you need things like wet wipes and
you also don't want
that
to
sort of
catch anything, because if
Yeah.
you get ill, that's going to only drop your immune system, and that's not going to help you fighting zombies.
yeah. So, and one other thing I have in here is like, because I'm disabled, I've got my key for disabled toilets. So if you ever you're in a town, in a really busy town, and there's nowhere else to go, and you need a locked up place, that's probably the best place to run to.
Also, one of the most important things, I think, in any survival kit is a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, a bit like my wood carver's knife that I used to carry with me.
Well, the reason I say that is because obviously it has a knife and that in it, but they have so many useful tools in them that will come up in different scenarios.
And keys are useful anyway as well.
Yeah.
Just like normal house keys. If you don't have a house anymore, the key can still be useful.
Yes.
Only close up because like,
You can stab it into a zombie's eye.
I mean, yeah, but
I'm looking through my bag to see what on earth I have that's
Although
useful.
then again, of course,
Spiky bitey.
yeah, and if you don't jab it in too far, there's no point, because these type of zombies that we are discussing will only die if you basically destroy their brain. So
There's a YouTube channel that I watch called Dan Plan. Yes, plug. Even though they're not sponsoring us or anything, and they've never spoken to us, but they are a cool hypothetical channel who helped inspire us to do this in the first place. One of the things that they asked in a hypothetical zombie scenario is, what would you do if you had someone on your team who had a strong moral compass? So like, they didn't want to kill
them.
certain things, and no, you can't kill the member of your team, remember? So they didn't want to kill certain things, and if they went into a shop to get weapons or something, they're like, oh, I've got my card, we can pay for these, that sort of thing.
Find another group of humans and give them to.
Well, what would you do to like try and convince them if they had to stick around you and you didn't want them to die and that sort of thing?
They only use debits, not credit.
How would you?
Look, if someone is trying to be morally just
How
after
would
the
you
apocalypse,
convince them that it's okay for them to kill a zombie, for example?
That zombie called you fat. Go on.
I would try to explain to them, a zombie is not a living person, therefore you're not technically killing anyone,
Yeah.
and you're only doing it to survive.
Or yeah, in like self-defense, that sort
Yeah.
of thing. You have to.
Well, the
but
thing
you have
is
to
as
make
well.
sure to tell them that beforehand, because otherwise you still end up in
Yeah.
that situation.
Well, the thing is, right, if someone on your team is morally just, and they're saying, "Oh, I won't do this, I won't do that," I mean, in this scenario, they are not a good asset to your team. They are only slowing you down. So if they can't get it together, I'm gonna point a gun at their head and make them get it together.
I think, well, for my situation, I'm not the best asset to your team in terms of physical fitness and health, and so I'd be holding down the fort. Maybe if you had someone...
You'd be the Overwatch.
Yeah, maybe if you had someone who was, like, trying to press their morals into the situation, you could not exactly reveal everything to them and be more like, how about you do this other task instead, and set them on more meaning, like little tiny tasks, that sort of thing, that would help just the whole system run.
No, I'm gonna get them to kill like 20 zombies on their first day.
Yeah, because if you do that, like, if they're in a situation where you need to kill a zombie or walker, which you want to call them, they're going to be too scared and they're probably going to die.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, right, if we don't train them to lose their morals, and they are so stubborn that they stick to that, they're going to get themselves killed.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to risk the lives of the rest of the group for that one individual. Even if I have a personal connection to that person, even if they're very important to me, I can't, as the team leader in this scenario, I can't allow them to compromise the rest of the group.
Yeah. If someone is lacking in a certain area that isn't isn't morals, or there's something with
We'll
the
find a
person-
use for them.
Yeah. And
Everyone has their uses as long as they are willing to survive.
Yeah.
Indeed.
How will you keep the morale of everyone in the group up? Because if there gets to a point where you've been surviving for months and months and months, maybe in the same place, or how will you keep up the hopes of the people surrounding you?
Well, with little missions that can boost their morale. Obviously, first thing we would want to do is get power, because that will help us to boost morale. Because if we have power, then we can get cooked food, which is only going to help people. And we could even find like a old video game system or something that doesn't require too much power, and play on that, which will boost morale. As long as we're safe in this scenario, as long as we're in a scenario where the zombies aren't going to attack us at that point, we could have like an hour to sit down and just chill out using our generator to play video games.
Oh yeah, I'll 1v1 you on Pong.
But I mean, anything like that. Board games.
Yeah.
Board games.
Uno.
Just like singing.
Have you
Make
ever
a campfire and cook marshmallows if we can find marshmallows.
This ain't SpongeBob, James.
Have you ever thought, like, in your own situation, like, either maybe you think you're the last person left, or maybe you're in a group but you're struggling. Have you ever thought of your own, like, how you would cope with certain things in a situation that's as dire as that?
I don't think, because in this hypothetical scenario, I'm team leader. I don't think that I have.
I love how you're just like, I am the team leader now.
Well, it's
I agree with that, though.
I
I
am
agree
the
with
captain.
Well, it's my hypothetical scenario, so
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
In this hypothetical scenario, I'm team leader, so I don't really have a right to compromise myself by freaking out or anything like that. I've got to stay strong for the rest of the team, because if my morale's down, the rest of the group morale's going to be down. I've got to show that I can cope, so the rest of the group can cope along with me.
That's a good idea of how to live it, I guess. Last question, because I've asked a lot of questions and I'm not really giving many answers. Because you mentioned, and you basically have asserted yourself as leader. What's everyone else's? What would your main job be? Would you say that you want to do as a job in this scenario, or like what your tasks and your duties would be in this scenario?
Ollie, do you want to go first?
Oh, what I would do?
Like what member of the team would you be as part of the group?
I'll be like the scout, like goes out, finds sources, gets weapons, food, and hopefully more survivors. That was actually decent. That can actually help the group.
Yeah. I know already that I'd probably be the home base person.
Yeah, you'd be the Overwatch.
I'd be kind of like I think I'd be the support kind of. So because I've always been the support in any sort of RPG or anything like that. I'm always the person who I'd try and relearn some first aid probably, and I'd be the person who like organizes things. So like our supply of food and stuff, I'd be the person with the tick chart rationing it all out to people.
And I think the most important part for your job as well is we would need to find some kind of walkie-talkies or CV radio, so you can stay in contact with the rest of the group.
I have a lot of knowledge on survival of what I've seen or experienced, and I did bushcraft for a while and that sort of thing. So I have a lot of knowledge on how to survive. I just wouldn't be very good at it on my own because I'm more of a support class type person.
Obviously, I've already said that I'm team leader. I would be strategizing, giving everyone their posts, telling each person to do. But I wouldn't just sit around and let people go out and risk their lives. I would be the first to go out if I need to go out. Say if we're really low on rations, I would be the first to go in the line to get rations. I wouldn't hesitate to go before anyone else.
I keep saying it's my last question, but I have all of these ideas of like, oh, what about this thing? What about that thing? Does anyone else have ideas before I ramble on again?
Be my guest.
Go on.
Okay, so if right now we're a team of 3 people.
Yes.
If we had the chance and we encountered people along the way, would you try and save people? Would you go out of your way to try and save people, or would you save only people who are beneficial for you, that sort of thing?
I would save someone if I saw them in danger, but I wouldn't invite them into our group unless they're beneficial towards us.
So you'd have like a screening process of some
Yeah, I would save the person, but if they were not beneficial to our group, I would let them on their way.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, same actually.
Same, yeah.
Exactly the same.
Okay. And I think this is probably the last one. Okay, Ollie, James just died. How are you going to lead the group?
Well, how I would lead. Well, the first
And
thing.
how would you console people on his death as well?
Oh, here we go. Full dictatorship over here.
Well, first of all, I would go to communism.
We do not condone communism. I just want to point that out.
We just don't talk about politics.
We also
until
do
Ollie
not
brings
condone
this up.
any of the jokes we make in this. In the last episode, we joked about cannibalism. We do not condone cannibalism.
Yeah, it would
I was
still be
listening
nice.
to that and I was like, oh no, why did we talk about that?
I mean, to take over the group, yeah, I would have to like learn from James's experience in the past, and like go through.
What, learn not to die?
Yeah, James died. Learn from his experience. He died. Maybe he's not the best example.
Okay, I'll just go through my own reasons. Yeah, I would say hard to you on the floor, just dead.
Just teabagging.
As a zombie comes up behind you, since that was what killed him.
I would default dance on you or something.
And then you get killed by a zombie because you were being
Or you
cocky.
get killed by James because he might have turned into a zombie.
That is also true.
I don't believe.
Okay,
James
as a
will.
support class, I'm going to assert myself as leader instead. I mean, that's a stupid idea, but it's
We
better
are
than
gonna
Ollie.
But I'm still here. Dead.
I think anyone's better at leading than Ollie. I'd get another member of the group who we've helped along the way to probably be.
I know. I think that would be quite good.
I'd vote in someone else, I'm afraid.
Communism is good on paper.
Jill Valentine's a pretty good leader. You should go and find her.
She might be dead though.
She's also fictional.
Okay, she might also be dead though.
Get Clementine from Walking Dead. She knows what's up.
Okay, she's dead though.
She's not actually. Yeah.
Everyone's dead now.
I mean, it's true.
What about
We're in
myself?
an apocalypse.
What about my self-esteem? Dead. Okay.
I was dead from the start.
Yeah, true. It probably was actually.
We've got through an entire episode of this podcast without mentioning Brexit.
Oh, well, Brexit no one cares about. Also, we don't talk about politics. And
Article 13 got passed.
yes, everyone hates
Yes.
that.
Oh
and
God! Don't even get me started on that. But we're not going into that.
we're not
we're in
supposed
the
to talk about politics.
We're in the apocalypse. Politics don't matter.
And Article 13 doesn't count because the internet might not exist anymore. So...
Oh no.
Oh no, yeah, what are we going to do without the internet in a zombie apocalypse?
How would I?
How would we ever cope? We'd have to, because it's a survival situation. You're unlikely to have internet. You're welcome.
I'll just kill myself. It'll be
Okay,
easier.
see ya.
Probably make it easier on the whole group, to be fair.
Hashtag.
We need 3
last
people
day.
though. Remember, one person dies, we all die.
It's fine, we'll just go find Alice. She seems to survive everything in the Resident Evil films.
Again, we can't have fictional characters.
Why
and they're
not?
probably dead. Everyone's
There's
dead.
zombies, why can't there be fictional characters too? Zombies aren't exactly the most realistic thing.
What about if I go and get my
Well, there is
girlfriend?
possibility that zombies could exist.
Well, yeah, there is that
hypothetically.
fungus and all of that, but...
What about my girlfriend? She knows what's up, yeah. She's amazing.
Oh, she's as fictional as zombies.
No.
Your girlfriend is Google.
No, my girlfriend is 2D actually.
Why were you going to marry Google then? Did you cheat? Cheater!
Bing. No, it's not what it looks like. Oh my god. I can't believe you've done this. Oh heck, I can't believe you've done this.
I knew I'd taken too much charge over this podcast. Because whenever I do, it's more like this question, this question, this question, and there's no comedy. We need comedy.
What about that question?
What about another question?
That's a fair point, Jane.
This is going nowhere. This is about as useful as the conversation we had before the podcast, where you literally walked into the room, just sort of nodded and said, podcast? And then we all just sort of nodded at each other and said, podcast.
Yeah. That was like the first thing I said, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was literally the first thing you said to either of us. Not hello, not how have you been, just podcast. We haven't seen you in like 2 months, but podcast.
That's what you invited me here for.
Oh, by the way, about the hiatus.
There's no hiatus. It's just the world doesn't end every single week.
Yes, we have realised that the apocalypse isn't going to happen every week. So there will be times when we're not on air for 1 week or 2 or even a month. But it doesn't mean we're not coming back. And if we don't come back, we probably died.
Yeah, probably. Or we just like parted ways and we're like, nah, I'm gonna live forever. I'm immortal now.
We've got families.
So we
Cats.
all became Alice from Resident Evil. Just
Sure.
immortal gods.
Not necessarily gods, but
Well, she's not a god, but she might as well be. She's
Okay.
like OP as hell.
I mean, technically that'll be a goddess.
does it matter?
It does.
Do you matter?
Oliver, this is no time for your feminism.
Alright, that's fair.
By the way, there were zombie ants. I meant to say that ages ago and I didn't
yeah.
get
No zombie ants, no zombie cats, and no zombie anteaters. We've discussed this.
Zombie ants exist in the
We
real
need
world right now.
feminism.
Yes, but they're not part of this apocalypse.
But they exist.
They do exist, but what is an ant gonna... If an ant got the T
I had
virus,
an
how...
ant on my back earlier today and it was like I had a scratch on my back and I was like, I have to scratch my back. And then it's like, what is this? Why do I have an ant on me? I was inside.
This is why we need feminism.
I told you, this is no time for your feminism.
I am confused.
It's always time for feminism. And right, Joseph. Ah! Okay, I don't know.
We fired Joseph.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Who is Joseph?
You don't know who Joseph is?
Did you throw him into a black hole?
No,
Is that
I-
why
I-
I forgot him?
I threw him into the shredder.
Who's that other guy we fired a little while ago?
I think it was George.
You
Was it
fired,
George or was it Stephen?
you fired the evil fan once.
We did. He's still fired.
Okay.
He's not coming back. He's gone for good. We don't talk about him. His apocalypse is over. That whole thing is over.
I saw him yesterday. Just
Everyone subscribe to the evil fan 557 on YouTube.
Look, what you think you saw is not true. He is not a hobo down the side of the street.
actually know what I was about to say.
Because he is a hobo down the end of the street.
He asked me for some money for some cigarettes. So I said, "Excuse me, sir. I do not know you." Then after he slapped me.
How'd he slap you? He doesn't have hands.
That's fans.
We've gotten way off topic. Zombies.
Evil fan.
More zombies, okay? Someone else ask the questions. I'm done. My questions are boring and no one wants to listen. I think everyone likes it when we go off topic. The end of the podcast is always the best.
Okay, I've got a question.
Yes,
We did say that we all have to survive, but in theory, if we had,
Well, you're already dead. Remember?
yeah, I took over.
Unfortunately.
I got brought back to life by Umbrella Corp by being injected with the T serum, and it turns out I'm actually immune. Voila! I'm now alive and have superpowers.
Jeez, this does not sound like the Maze Runner at all.
This is the plot for the.
Death Cure.
This is genuinely the plot for the first Resident Evil saga of films. But
disgusting.
But anyway, so I'm back alive now.
My brain is on like 5 million different things. I was like, oh, I saw this dog video earlier, or oh, I went bowling the other day, that was fun. Hey, I got a new jacket. I've got like 5 million things to say, and they're all going around in my head, and it's like, this is not relevant. Why am I thinking of them?
Forget those things. If I'm gonna put this question out
My
here.
new jacket is pretty cool, by the way.
I'm gonna put this question out here. If you had to kill one of the group, who is it and why?
Ollie, duh.
That's a bit me. That's bang out.
You have to give a reason.
That was my reason. Duh.
I mean, that's fair. That makes perfect sense.
That's so. I mean, who would you? That's bang out.
I wouldn't kill anyone in the group, by the way. I'd leave them to die, but
No,
I
no.
wouldn't kill them.
No. This is in a scenario where you have to kill one of the group because one of us are infected, but we don't know who. So you have to make the snap decision of killing one of the other two people.
Ollie's obviously infected, not you, because you would outrun the situation and you would outsmart the situation. I can't say the same for Ollie.
I'm infected with some diseases that I prefer not to talk about. But, listen here, okay? That does not mean I'm infected with the team.
Okay, Ollie, you're dead. Now what?
Okay, no, we're all gonna say who we would kill. Ollie.
Robin.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Is that purely because she killed you?
Yeah.
Now you have no one who knows any first aid.
Uno
You're gonna
reversal.
die.
I'm gonna be devil's advocate and say I wouldn't kill either of you until I had the facts of who was infected. I would run tests and I would wait it out until one of you died,
Yeah,
and
but
I'd have you both.
I didn't know why we were killing people. To
I'd
start
have
with.
you both
Hello.
tied up, and then I'd shoot the person who got infected. No, in the scenario that I have to kill one of you, I would kill whoever
Hey, would
appeared.
Rosie be on our team, or
to
would
be the
Rosie be a
worst.
zombie?
Oh, Rosie would be our guard dog.
Yeah, we got a guard dog. We're gonna survive.
You had me. But now I'm dead.
Honestly, I don't know which one of you I would kill because, like, you both have your value.
You both have your values, and you look uncertain.
Why did you look at me when you said we both have value and just cut out?
Hello.
I'm just gonna say Ollie because he's already been killed once in this scenario, so he's already dead. So it's not gonna affect him anymore.
Well, I'm gonna come back as a zombie. I'm gonna kill both of you. I'll start with you first.
Why me first?
I like to think.
You betrayed me.
I like to think that I.
You're already dead. She already killed you. I just finished you off.
You know, dead tomorrow. Well, that's not true.
I'd like to think that I'm important enough to keep around in this scenario, because even though I don't have the abilities of everyone else, I'm a good support class. I hope.
We're totally killing Robin. Don't tell her.
Hey, that's not fair.
I'll get the gun.
Where are you getting it from?
My airsoft.
Okay.
It's Nerf or nothing.
I'd also probably rather you leave me rather than kill me. You could just like leave me somewhere. Leave me in the countryside.
What, like when an owner just leaves their dog?
What, you're gonna kill
That's
me?
mean. You can leave me, just not like a dog, because dogs.
Yeah, no, you're
should
right.
Never be left.
Yeah, you're right. Not like a dog, because Rosie's coming with us.
But aww,
You get nothing. You get no guard dog. You're on your own.
I'll take Bella.
She's with us too.
Oh,
We'll be nice. We'll give you a knife.
okay. Just leave me in the
We're giving her the
countryside,
small
not in the
knife, right?
city.
Yeah.
I'd kill you both if you left me in the city. Don't leave me in the city.
So, okay.
We're leaving her in the city right by where the infection started, right?
Yeah.
I hate you.
She doesn't want to be in the city, so where the city just ends, yeah, we'll just put her right there.
No.
I mean,
So it's like right next to the city.
I mean, revelation time. I would like to point out now I've basically become immune and I've got the T-virus in me already. I'm practically immortal in this story, so that's two of us that can't die together.
But if you bite me,
with
then
me.
I'll become infected.
You could come with me. If you're immune, you can just... You'd be
how
the
about
best person just to stay with me, please.
We'll just leave.
Leave Ollie!
Don't leave me, leave him, because
No, because...
he'll be fine. Get
Yeah.
bitten.
Or here's a crazy suggestion: I just shoot you both for incompetence.
Aww.
Uno reversal. Get a mirror.
Remember, you can't kill me though,
Why can't I?
Well,
because I'm basically an immortal god at this point. We've
Well-
discussed this.
Well, you're not technically immortal. A zombie can still kill you, even though you're immortal. He can just literally rip your flesh off and dead.
Yeah, but I have superpowers.
Since when?
Since I got injected with the T-virus, we've covered this.
When did you get injected with the T-virus?
When I died and they brought me back to life by using the T-virus. God.
But isn't that just when you technically just already be dead and the zombie that when you died from just infected you? So technically, how the hell did you go in the laboratory?
Because
where-
I'm immune to the T-virus.
But why? When did
To
the
its effects. It
why
merged
did you
with my
get immune
DNA.
and no one else did?
Because it, rather than turning me into a zombie, it merged with my DNA and gave me superpowers.
Yeah, what if that happened to us
Which
as well, though?
we said that we were basing this off of Resident Evil lore, and in Resident Evil lore there are select people
Why are you
that
the select
can do
person,
that.
though?
Because I'm the hero of this story.
Well done.
I'm
I'm regressing on making him leader now. We need to find someone else outside of this group to be the leader.
I told you communism. But no way.
Again, no politics. Shut
Look,
up.
no. You need me to be immortal. You need me to be injected
Yeah,
with the
we need
T-virus.
you to be the leader.
Because if I am the leader, you want the leader to be the one that can't die, because then there's no risk of you losing your actual leadership.
Once if you just become.
Has
like,
anyone else done
military-
any survival courses of any kind in the past, by the way?
Uh,
I've done bushcraft and...
I went to Avon 2, then after I did some good old fashioned building shelter, and I was terrible at it, but no.
I went to
I can make a cup of tea really, really good.
That's going to help you survive, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is.
Okay.
I mean, well, it's going to keep up morale, because if you make a bad cup of tea, that brings down morale. I can confirm this. When someone puts the milk in first... Right, in the
You're
apocalypse...
going to create another argument.
Yeah. In the apocalypse, if we're making a cup of tea to warm ourselves up because we're in a cold environment, if someone puts the milk in the tea first in our group, that person is being shot.
Okay.
The second they put the milk in first,
Thankfully,
they
I
are
would do
no
that.
longer a valuable asset.
See, this is why I don't think you guys are cut out for survival, because you're shooting your teammates.
I mean, you technically shot me.
I only did because he said I had to, otherwise I'd die.
How about you can just shoot yourself?
How about no thank you? I think I'm a valuable member of the team, thank you.
Whoa, this is sexist.
How?
I don't know.
Okay.
This is no time for your reverse feminism. Why do I get the feeling that in this team, it's just going to be a lot of Oliver complaining about
Why do I
feminism?
get a feeling that I'm going to be the last one alive? Because you guys have gone out and then I'm staying in and I'm going to be the last one.
But I'm
just
always
there.
going to come back anyway because, like I say, immune.
Okay, if you weren't immune, I feel like I'd be the last person alive.
No, but I would happily risk myself and sacrifice myself if it means the rest of the group are
I'm
safe.
more likely to die from hunger than die from being bitten by a zombie.
I'll probably betray you. I'm so sorry, but it's like I'll probably get like another group and just
This is why.
I can see that.
This is
Yeah.
why if I could choose my survival group, I wouldn't choose you. That is why you were the first to go.
Why? Because we're men.
No,
I'm joking.
you were the first to go. James wasn't the first to go. I can trust James better than I can trust you.
Whoa. Whoa, this is... Oh.
Make yourself more trustworthy, then you'd be useful to the team.
How? How can I be more trustworthy?
By saying you wouldn't betray us, you dumb dumb.
Oh! I know a way you can make yourself more trustworthy.
I'm not backing down on communism.
Okay, I know another way you can make yourself more trustworthy. We take a pistol, we put one bullet in, we spin it round,
We're not playing roulette.
and you have to shoot. You have to go to shoot yourself, and if you don't get shot, you're trustworthy because you took the risk for the team.
Anyone else want a cup of tea?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes, mythical god.
You want a cup of tea?
Yes, please.
For those of you listening out there, that was the tea
Mythical being.
guru.
According to Ollie, it's a mythical being.
It is a mythical being. You may know him as Monkey.
Where'd Rosie go?
Whoa.
I like stroking her.
I would like to point out we're not sponsored by PG Tips. It was a joke. Don't kill me, PG.
Oh, yes, sugar.
Yes, 2, please.
Oh, could I have one, please? Thank you.
So now this is the life.
But you know what? This zombie apocalypse has turned out to be really good.
I thought you were the master tea maker, though.
I'm out of a job.
You're no longer.
You still need my leadership.
Yeah.
+4.
No, it's more like a change colour Uno card.
Meme review.
No. Why are we meme reviewing? What meme are we reviewing?
Filthy Frank.
My life.
Well, should I mention the meme from earlier that I was talking about?
Oh, Ricardo.
No. That's what you were talking about. I was talking about Duolingo. Because if I'm not going to die from zombies or starvation or whatever else in this hypothetical scenario, I'm going to die by the Duolingo bird because I missed my streak the other day. And so now I'm dead, basically.
Well, you die sometimes, you live sometimes. But at this rate, I'm the only one surviving.
What about me? I'm good at this kind of stuff.
No,
okay?
you're
You
not.
are gonna step outside of our fort and literally be eaten straight away.
Whoa, this is... Oh, I'm getting ganged up on.
No, it's because... It's not because...
Or you're gonna betray the team and we're gonna have to kill you for betraying us.
It's because
I'm not killing anyone
If he
unless I
betrays
have
us...
to. But that's not the point. The point is he is not good at surviving, as was shown by his answers, and that is why he would not survive.
Actually, to be fair, if he betrays us, probably the cruelest fate we could give him is rather than just killing him, we can just leave him for the zombies because he clearly can't survive on his own.
True.
I mean, that was only a joke, guys. I mean, I would never betray you two.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's better.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't just kill you guys when you're sleeping.
I don't sleep.
Well,
Nor do I, actually.
neither
And
do
I'm
I,
sure
guys.
there'd be someone on watch all of the time, and we don't
Yes.
trust you with night watch, so
Do you guys like chicken?
no.
I
like
broccoli.
chicken.
Broccoli, come on.
Broccoli's alright.
It's okay.
Broccoli. Oh,
You're not poisoning my broccoli.
I would never do such a thing. I cannot cook.
We know. That's why.
Yeah, that's why
how-
you're not a valuable asset here.
No, that's. Hello there. Thank you.
The mystical being has granted us cups of tea.
I have a Transformers cup.
I have a fox.
Well, you know, Transformers cups are the only cups. What are you talking about?
I mean, animal
There are
cups.
no other cups.
But I've got a fox.
It's a fox that is secretly a Transformer.
Okay. You got polka dots.
They all transform.
Into what?
Polka dot fox.
Pokemon.
I can't believe we went from zombies to Pokemon. Actually, Detective Pikachu does look like a pretty good film. I'm looking forward to it.
I am.
to that one.
Yes, I cannot wait for that.
I'm on the edge. I'm
I
not
thought-
sure.
if you want a good film, not sponsors, by the way, you should check out Bumblebee. It's a really good film. Highly recommend it. And it acts as both a prequel and a reboot. If you're a fan of the Michael Bay films, you can watch it as a prequel.
This
If you
has
want
nothing
something
to do
new,
with
you
what
can
we're
watch it
talking
as a
about.
reboot.
But I do love Bumblebee.
It is a really good
So
film.
I'll let you off on
I
this
prefer
one.
the Wasp.
That is actually a character in Transformers, so I'll give you a pass.
Bumblebee is still better though.
Whoa. Captain America. Civil War
Brawl. Brawl is the best character.
Bumblebee.
Brawl is a literal tank.
2. Bumblebee.
But Bumblebee.
It's Bumblebee.
But if we're going best Autobots, it goes Jazz is number 1, then Optimus Prime, then Bumblebee.
So
But Bumblebee though.
does that mean you like jazz? I'll give myself up.
Yeah.
We're not all gonna leave like last time. That's not happening here.
Okay, back onto zombies. Although, to be fair, if
How
we
long have
had
we been
Bumblebee
podcasting
as
for?
an asset, he would help us.
55 points. Give me a sec.
Why are you giving points? 55 minutes
Give me a
basically.
sec and 50.
Okay.
We might as well go to the hour mark at this point.
Yeah. So we have 5 minutes left. How are we going to survive in the last 5 minutes?
We have 4 minutes actually.
How are we going to survive in the last 4 minutes? Kick Oliver out and let the zombies eat him.
That's not how we survive. We, as the group.
The rest
How
of
are
us
we
will
gonna
survive because they'll be distracted by him and we can get out.
I mean, I can.
While the
climb-
cure is released.
I can climb trees.
Exactly, so he'll survive too.
Okay.
Perfect plan.
We are
No.
going from the house and we have 5 minutes to find a place where we.
Jokes
might have
aside,
supplies or something.
Jokes aside, obviously we're not sacrificing any of the team. We would need some kind of distraction though.
Yeah.
If we could get hold of some kind of flare or a firework or something to distract the zombies.
Is this? Do we have these like 4 or whatever minutes that we have left? Do we think this is like a planning period or like a get out and go period? We plan for longer, right?
If we only have 5 minutes left, I'm gonna say that this is the last 5 minutes we have to survive before a cure is released. So if we survive those
Are you
5
sure, though?
minutes,
Wait,
the
Because
Earth will
in
be cured.
reality, we have now probably 3 minutes, but we'll let it go on probably a bit longer. So we'll say if we have 5 minutes till the end of this podcast. And in reality, the zombie apocalypse is happening tomorrow.
Yes.
So this is our last chance to be together and plan something. So what is
Yes.
our plan? If we all go our separate ways after this podcast, what is our plan if the zombie apocalypse?
Like I say, we need to stock up on either fireworks or flares because those are going to help us very much. We need to either set off a couple fireworks or some flares to distract the zombies.
Is that your job? You're going to get the fireworks.
I will get the resources. As a team, we will set it
We'd
up.
all get different resources. So you're
Yeah.
getting the fireworks.
Mhm.
I will take charge of getting canned food. What about you?
I would get soft gun because even though
So your weapons, your distractions, and I'm food and medical supplies, basically.
Oh,
Okay. What next?
Right. Next things first. We don't sneak out the front exit because that's what idiots do.
Yeah.
We
Climb out a window is probably the
Yes.
best idea.
exactly, and not just any window. We climb out the roof
Yeah.
because we can then climb around
Or across
and
roofs.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, across roofs, different direction. You have a lot of options if you're climbing off a roof. Whereas if you're just walking out a door, there's going to be a lot of zombies around.
Yeah.
So we're climbing out of a window out on the roof. We find a way out. Then we need
I'd
to
keep
get
climbing on roofs for quite a while, probably.
my
Until
suggestion.
I ran out of energy, then I'd have to go down to the ground.
My
to grab a
suggestion is the
vehicle.
first thing we need to do. First thing we need to do after that is we need to find a vehicle.
Yeah.
So
Whereas your vehicle is the one we have closest and available to us right now.
but in the event that that we don't have that as an option,
Like if it was smashed by zombies.
then we would have to either hotwire another car or just hope and pray that we can find a vehicle with the keys in.
Or you could break into another house get keys, but that could be risky because they could have weapons and think you're a zombie or whatever.
Or there could already be zombies in the house.
Yeah.
That sounds like a dangerous game.
So once we have a vehicle,
There are some cars that had a new locking system. If we could find one of those cars that are easily broken into that hadn't been taken back yet and then changed the locking system, we could work out a way to unlock those cars and use one of those.
once we have a vehicle, we then just have to get out of Dodge. We have to get out of the main town and find a clearing. Because at least there might be zombies in the clearing, but at least then
If we don't have enough supplies to last us, because I only have one night to go and get food or something like that, would we go to any sort of shop to raid it first? Would you think, or not? And what sort of shop would you go
I mean,
to
like I
raid?
say, I have cans that would probably last us about 2 months.
Okay.
So we would be good for 2 months.
And would we, if you had to go on foot, would we raid a wheelchair store for me?
Yeah.
Because I think that's a good idea to get like a mobility scooter that can go faster than my chair.
I think
that could also fold up into
I think
a car.
raiding a fishing store that sells fishing equipment would be quite wise
Yeah,
too.
and then living
For
on
2
the river
reasons.
would be a good idea.
For 2 reasons. One, of course, to get food from we can actually fish, and 2, a lot of fishing equipment can be used as weapons.
Yeah, definitely.
Where would you fish?
In a river or the ocean.
I don't think it would be a good idea in the ocean because zombies or zombles.
Zumble.
Stumbles, that's a new one.
Might be like contaminating the water, so the fish will be contaminated if you eat it.
Not in this scenario.
Not in this scenario. You're actually quite safe in the water
Yeah.
in most zombie scenarios.
I mean, yeah, to be fair, because if it's far away, but
The only thing you need to worry about is if there's any zombies in the water.
Yeah. What would be good is a lake of some sort in the middle of the country.
Mm.
Like maybe if we travelled up north, Lake District is a good place, probably.
Yeah. Well, the ideal place. I mean, I'm not a big fan of
If you were camping
countryside places because I like to have a bit of noise. I think they're too quiet. But the ideal place in this scenario is a small town in the countryside because that means less people, less zombies.
If you were camping like without a normal shelter, so if you weren't getting in houses and that sort of thing because of there could be people or zombies in houses and that sort of thing, if you wanted to be well away from any town, how would you build your shelter?
That's a good one. I'm not too sure because I would just go in like a house or something. Because if you're,
You just go in the house and like risk it for biscuit.
oh yeah, I would risk it for a Triscuit. Yeah.
I think if we go ahead with the plan that we've got and we go to a small countryside town with very minimal people in it,
Yeah.
then it's less of a risk to raid a house or even take a house because there's less risk of zombies in small areas.
If I didn't have the house option, because actually I'm a very like non-confrontational person, I wouldn't want to raid the house most of the time unless I had to. I'd more likely either build some sort of island-based house in the lake or the river or whatever, and anchor that down. So have some sort of like boating house or whatever, or I'd live in a van, like I said earlier, or I'd live, which is probably my best idea, in like a zombie scenario, because and for my own personal living, I wouldn't usually live on an island in a lake, so but I think a treehouse would probably be the best idea since our zombies can't climb.
Yes, or like you were saying, a boathouse.
Yeah.
That would actually be a pretty ingenious idea because these zombies, you know,
A boathouse is a problem.
they're not
if
going to
you're-
have a lot of them in the water because they can't swim.
A boathouse is a problem if you need to tie it up somewhere to sleep down, or if you need fuel for it. So just like a plastic island in the middle of a lake makes more sense in this regard, but then you're not as warm or as sheltered or whatever. So that's why I like the tree idea better, because you can build up high, the zombies can't get to you, and you can build quite firm structures in trees. And
where would you get the wood? Where would you get the metals? Where would you get the construction equipment?
You'd have to raid places probably.
Exactly, and you
Yeah.
were saying the reason that you
I guess
would
so.
build that is to avoid raiding places.
Yeah, but the same thing with like a boathouse. Like someone else would occupy a boathouse in a zombie apocalypse. Everyone else would have that idea, and it would be hard to steal a boathouse, I'd think.
I think as well, our vehicle, we would not want to leave it as a regular car for long. We would want to armour it up.
Yeah, and in the sleeping scenario, and if you don't want to be sleeping in a vehicle or a house or in the middle of the lake, then the best thing to do with very little materials is just hammock in the trees.
Yeah.
You don't need all of the wood. So a tree house doesn't have to be tons and tons of wood and collected. It could just be like have a hammock in a tree, high
Right.
up.
Are we up to the hour mark yet?
Most likely.
Yes.
Okay, well, I think, unless you two have any final words, that we could call this a wrap.
Yeah.
Nothing to say.
Well, this time I actually think we possibly might not die. I think we
I
have
think
quite
we
a good
could
plan.
survive for
I think
tomorrow.
we could survive for tomorrow. I think we could survive a few months. Like you said, we have enough food for a few months. So maybe this time we're not dead tomorrow. We will see you next time, whenever that will be. Maybe at the end of our zombie apocalypse scenario when we're just about to die. We have no food left or whatever. Thank you for listening to the Dead Tomorrow podcast. That's goodbye from me. Everyone else wants to say bye?
Goodbye, good sir, madam, and all the genders out there. Have a good one.
And that's goodbye from me.